Greetings and welcome into whatever time and space you're in, to whatever given circumstances happen to be around you. I'm here in the early afternoon um, in a very, very late winter or early spring day, at least from what it feels like. So it's cold but sunny, so I'm outside. So that comes with its own obstacles. You might see a dog running through. I live on a farm on a island in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, and sometimes there are animal sounds or plane sounds or a construction worker needs something, or there's just all sorts of things that distract us in real life, which is one of the reasons it's hard to practice at home, which is the whole point kind of offering this video here. So feel free to use the tool as you need to. If you need to stop it or repeat something or only do 10 minutes, feel free. This class, particularly, I continue to encourage you to try and figure out your own practice. This is more like a format, that you're going to interweave your own needs and experiences into. So you'll always be able to make your own decisions. Never do I really feel like yoga is about regimenting our bodies into particular asanas or aesthetics, etc. So on. A lot of that comes from dance and other body movement forms where we are trying to sort of be so specific with the body. You want to be safe and structured, stable in your postures. That is truly different for everyone. Your anatomy will be literally different, the angles and curves where things will set in place. And so if we look at the overall goals of stability, freedom, ease, joy, etc., we might be able to make decisions on our own, right? Which is going to be more empowering anyway. And in the long run, a yoga practice is about going within yourself to understand everything, to understand the universe. So I'm just here to try to send you back to yourself as many times as I can, again and again. So if you find you need more allyship in that, you can always reach out and say, I don't understand how to do this. Please feel free to look me up. Otherwise, I'll trust that you have good intentions to be kind to yourself and know that you have full permission from me, love and joy from me to go forth and do what's right for you. That might mean modifying a pose, doing a different posture, having a different mindset, etc. So on. A lot of trust between us, as it were, in this way. And I hope a lot of forgiveness for me if anything comes up that isn't for you, that you'll feel empowered to move past it without any concern. All right, let's get started. I like to begin this practice by uniting with the seed sound of Om. Seed sound means sort of seed sound of the universe. The idea that this secular chant acknowledges the interconnection, interrelationship between all things, thus acknowledging both our power and our humility inside of that spectrum. Again, my name's Alyssa. I use they, them pronouns. Thanks for joining me here. You can always sit in silence. There's no need to chant if it's not for you. Just like everything else, you're going to have to sort of dig into what's right in your experiences, what feels authentic. The idea of chanting is also just to remind us of the context of this practice, where it comes from. And particularly, my lineage comes from southern India, Mysore, and that we live in a time where we have the privilege to do this kind of practice, and the great gratitude we have for those who cleared time before. My dog is a good attention seeker. All right. You can sit up on a chair. You can sit up on a prop. You're always welcome to lie down or start in a different position. You could close your eyes or look at one spot at the earth or out long in front of you. Let your hands find a position that doesn't draw too much unneeded attention to them. To clear and prepare the channel of your body, take an inhale in through your nose and open your mouth to exhale. Inhale, prepare for Om. Begin to breathe in the ujjayi form, in and out through your nose. Talking a little bit about transitioning today and ideas of transition from weight shifting, from pose to pose, from thought to thought. And the breath is the first transition, from inhale to exhale. In classical pranayama, we actually have names for these ideas: the moment of infinity, where we're full, a kumbhaka, a moment of emptiness at the bottom of the exhale are part of that transition, right? Even if they only last for half a millisecond. Begin to breathe in a way that feels free for you, but that is second nature that you're doing on purpose. Ujjayi means upward liberating breath, and is classically drawn through the sinuses in and out through the nose, slowly to fill the rib cage, the lungs, to press down the diaphragm. And the breath is the primary practice, and it can take many years to master or to even just come into collaboration with. On your next natural inhale, flutter your eyes open. Your next exhale, tune into what's around you, slowly at first. Inhale to take your arms out and up, reaching up. And exhale your arms right back down. Try to get taller through the crown of your head as your arms come down. Again, inhale, arms up. Whenever the moment of fullness comes without stress or pressure, then just let it turn over. Exhale. Arms down. Again, one more time. Inhale. And this time, exhale, twist to the right. You might bring your left hand towards your right knee, your right hand behind you. Turn your chest bone, your sternum in the direction that you think your eyes ought to go. And then let your neck follow. Good. Exhale to unwind, and inhale, take your arms out and up. Let your rib cage expand and lift, and exhale, twist to the left. It doesn't have to be super deep to be effective, but we want to breathe and pay attention to the breath. Really, we breathe and pay attention, and that's most of what the practice is. That's what kind of makes it yoga. And especially if you're pretty adept at transitioning, you can allow yourself to remain open to new ways. Exhale to unwind, and inhale, take your arms up. Exhale to draw your hands through the center. We'll come forward into a tabletop position. Come to your hands and knees. I'm going to transition out of a layer here. All right. And plant your hands. If this position is not for you, one of the things you can do is take your mat and roll it up a little bit. And then you can hang. You can do it off the edge here. Hang off the edge, making kind of an angle down. So my fingers are now downhill from my wrists. For some people, that'll give you space. You can always roll it up higher and see if that helps. Also, always welcome to do it from a seat. All right, let's go cat. Inhale, cow pose or cat pose. Drop your belly. It's cow pose. Drop your belly ribs. Lift your chin and tailbone up. And exhale to cat. Though you've probably seen a cat stretch both ways. Tuck your chin around your spine. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale to cat. Good. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, curl your toes under. Lift your knees and hips up and back on the inhale. Spin your tail high. Exhale, your heels low. You can begin to move. You might walk out right and left foot. Let your hips twist and pivot as your weight shifts through your feet. And inhale out into a plank position, upward push-up. Bring your shoulders over your wrists and exhale your knees to the mat. Like cow pose, the back bend. Inhale, lift your chin and tail. Exhale, bend your elbows, offer your heart towards the earth. It doesn't have to get all the way down there. Maybe chest and chin will touch. Inhale, push back up in the back bend shape, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, and curl your toes if they're not already. Spin your knees and hips up and back, and exhale, downward dog. You can always bend your knees, lift your heels, always put your hands up on props or blocks. Try walking your hands up a wall to do the pose. Good. On your next exhale, slowly step your feet up to meet your hands. Hang in a ragdoll forward fold. You might grab for your elbows.
A lot of times, so that the microphone can hear me, I'll lift my head up, but I really suggest that you hang your head as frequently as possible. Let your neck go. Let gravity fully pull on your upper body so that your lower body has to learn to stand. Right? So even though you're folded forward, you're in a standing position already, right? On your 2 feet. Breathe deeply. You might, with your belly compressed towards your thighs, breathe into your lower back. Bending your knees, and really put this into your spine and take it out of your hamstrings, your glutes, the backs of your knees. So if you feel those sensations a lot, you might try bent knees. If you ever have issue with hyperextension or feeling kind of weak and damaged in the knees in any way, bending your knees gently, carefully, it is one of the ways that we start to sort of know where our knees are at. You never want to rush in, as it were. Next exhale or two, drop your arms out of any chosen grip. We're slowly going to roll up to a standing position. You might keep your knees quite bent. Try to drag your head. Let it be the last thing to lift. Drag your fingertips. When you get to the top, you could roll your shoulders down your back a couple of times. Stack your head atop the rest of your spine. And sometimes it feels really stable to stand at feet like hips distance with our heels, our ankles right underneath the sockets of the hips. And sometimes you have a wider pelvis, narrower pelvis. The setting feels different, so you could play around with it. Sometimes turned in or out feels different in your feet, and you could play around with that too. Some people prefer a neutral position of feet together, sometimes heels separated, and sometimes just an inch. I encourage you to try. Right? All of these systems I found to be good as long as you're paying attention to them and their rigidity doesn't stop you from connecting with yourself. As you stand in this standing position, samasthitihi, same on all sides, we're trying to balance in the points of gravity. We work with our barometric pressure and our breath, ujjayi pranayama, in and out through the nose. You might close your eyes and feel out at that lilt, front to back, right to left, north, south, east, west, around that central mark. Spinning planet, revolving universe, always moving in the inner ear, the outer eye, etc. Give us a sense of being balanced against these forces or with them. And through the crown of your head or the roof of your mouth, feel an extension upward. Press your feet down. Feel the heaviness of your pelvis. As you breathe, you might begin to pull the floor of your pelvis up, the mula bandha, a little bit like a kegel if you've never done it before. A little bit like just sort of holding in if you need to use the bathroom and haven't quite gotten to the rest stop yet. I'd hate to be lewd about it, but we don't have a lot of ways of talking about those parts of our bodies in culture. And there are muscles there, and contracting them can help us stabilize our spine. Nothing extreme. Same thing with drawing your navel back, Uddiyana Bandha. And it doesn't really matter what the equipment you have is, we're trying to find tone at the base. All right. Inhale to take your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana, reach up. Hands can be shoulder distance. You might press your palms. Look up only if your neck feels good about it. Exhale, forward fold. Feel free to bend your knees. You can swan dive down if you like. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, fold. So halfway lifting, we do a lot to transition because it gives us that cow-cat sense of extension in our spine in two directions. So let's do it again. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend your knees if you like. Stick your tail out. Exhale, forward fold. That's the rounding part. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Bring some weight into your right foot and step your left foot back. Long, low lunge. Inhale, dip your back knee, lift your heart up. Exhale, step back to downward dog. And so in Vinyasa yoga, we flow, and traditionally those were full flow sun salutations as sort of the major transition between any postural action, composed of postures itself, of course. And sort of been shortened down to the Chaturanga Vinyasa, as most people call it. Already done one version of that with cow cat and with lowering knees, chest, chin. Actually, two versions, I guess. Let's try another. Inhale out into a plank, upward push-up position. And exhale your knees to the mat. Bend your elbows, lower about halfway. And then we'll inhale into cobra. So you might even drop your belly to the mat, peel your heart forward and up. You can use your hands to lift. And exhale to bring your chin or forehead down. Let's do it 2 more times. Inhale, bhujangasana. And exhale to lower. I like things in threes. It's nice geometry. Inhale, lift your heart up. And exhale. Please feel free to follow your own breathing pattern over mine. Curl your toes under. Inhale back up through that hands and knees position or tabletop. Exhale back, downward facing dog pose. Take a big free inhale. And exhale to step your left foot forward. You can always grab it and draw it up, right? This is a classic transition into lunging. Not done so much because it can be difficult. Inhale to gaze forward, dip your hips. Exhale with one or many steps, bring your right foot up to meet your left and fold forward. Here it is again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. That's the arms up pose. So take your arms out. You can always bend your knees on the way. Reach all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Return to neutral standing position. All right. Of course, now it's quite warm and cold all day. Let's work through another one of these. Inhale, take your arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Press your feet down as you reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your right foot back. Inhale, like cow lunge, dip your back hip and knee. Keep your legs strong. Exhale to step back to downward dog. Inhale out into a plank. Exhale, lower all the way down. You can always use your knees on the way. Tops of your feet down. Inhale, cobra, bhujangasana, just one this time. Exhale to lower and curl your toes. Inhale to press up from knees or toes and exhale. Downward dog, hang your head. Always feel free to play around with down dog, to widen your feet or hands, to change the angle of your arms and your shoulder sockets or your fingers. Truly, what's stable should also still be changeable, right, without being rigid. Adaptability becomes pertinent in a system like the body is always creating and destroying itself. That's another transition, I guess. Take another big free inhale. Exhale, step your right foot forward. You might grab it and draw it up. Inhale to gaze forward and prepare. Exhale with one or many steps, come up to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, some play noises. Exhale, forward fold. There's a nearby military base. Inhale to stand up. Just don't let the sound worry you if you can avoid it. Take your arms up overhead, reaching up. Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, Samasthiti. Though I do agree that it's interesting to live in a time as a species where military craft are flying over us, even in lands of relative quote unquote peace. Anyways, inhale your arms up, reaching up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and step your left foot back. All right. Drop your back knee down and inhale to lunge. So you can climb up your front leg. You could take your arms straight up. Take an exhale to squeeze your left glute and press your hip forward and down. Make sure your right heel's on the ground. My front knee is bent a lot. If you need more space, you could always scooch it more forward so the knee stacks more over the ankle. Take another inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale, plank pose. That's another transition. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower about halfway, or you could lower all the way again. Inhale through upward dog or cobra. Make your way back and exhale or two to downward facing dog pose. So sometimes stepping your foot directly forward is difficult. One of the ways that we've worked around it in the yoga world has been to inhale a leg up and back into a one-footed dog. So let's do that. Inhale your right leg up and back, reaching back. And just take a moment and notice what it's like to bear weight in 3 points. Is your neck still relaxed? Is your tail still tall? And you could always bend your standing knee. Exhale to open your hip and bend your knee. And just let it hang for a moment. Good. So you might notice how twisted your pelvis is, your lower back is. You might even be twisting your right shoulder up. Some of you might even come down on your left elbow. Take another inhale to reach it high and long. Exhale to down dog, put both feet down. Good. Inhale your left leg up. Exhale to open your hip. Good. Some people call this scorpion dog. My back bends a lot when I do it, but you don't have to bend your back. Bending your knee, rolling your ankle, letting the front of your left hip start to extend. Inhale, straighten and reach your left leg high and long, and exhale to bring your knee towards your nose. Try to step your foot forward between your hands. Good. You might grab it and draw it up. Inhale to gaze forward, prepare. Exhale to step forward and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reach to rise and plate to stand up. Exhale, Samasthiti. All right, so a lot of this is different ways getting into lunges, moving from standing upright to being in a lunging position. All right, we'll go through this sort of version of it one more time. Inhale your arms up on the other side, as it were. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold and step your right foot back. Drop your right knee down. Climb up onto your left knee thigh. You could inhale to take your arms up. Exhale to send your pelvis forward and down. Nice grounded legs and feet. Next exhale or two, release your hands to the earth. Inhale to plank pose. Exhale to a chaturanga of your choice. You could always skip this part and head back to down dog. Inhale through up dog or cobra. Strong legs and feet kick the earth. Exhale to downward facing dog pose. Inhale your left leg up and back. Exhale, bend your knee and open your hip. Inhale, straighten and reach. This time on your exhale, bring your knee to your nose, your chin to your chest, round your spine, and then shift your weight forward towards the space over your hands. Inhale, one-footed dog. Press through the ball of your foot. Exhale, left knee to nose, round forward. Inhale to press. And exhale to step your left foot down onto the mat. Inhale your right leg up and back. Exhale to open the hip and bend the knee. Good. Inhale to straighten and reach. Exhale, right knee to nose. Curl in, shift forward. Inhale, extend your right leg back. Press through the ball of your foot. Use your hamstring, your hip to lift. Exhale, knee to nose. I come high on the ball of my back foot to do this. One more time. Inhale, reach. Same exhale your knee to your nose and step your right foot forward between your hands. Inhale, prepare, look forward. Exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, stand up, reaching upward. Exhale, standing neutral, Samasthiti. Breathe. So you don't have to move super fast. You can take your time, add extra breaths. The change transitioning, going from Samasthiti to standing positions, right? One of the transitions here is just to bend our knees. Take a big free inhale. Exhale, Utkatasana. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Your feet could be hips distance. You could also work with your feet together. You're welcome to sink your hips low if your knees allow it. But keep rocking your weight back so that you have to contract your hamstrings. Use your back muscles to back bend, lift your heart up. Arms could be out, forward, or up. Take a big free inhale. And on your exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Good. Shift your weight into your right foot. Slowly step your left foot back behind you into a lunge, right? So we're standing up, right? The squatting might give us more difficulty muscularly, but maybe more availability to adapt along the way. And inhale to reach your arms up. And exhale your hands down. Step back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale your left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, high lunge. Anjaneyasana. Exhale your hands to heart center, or maybe to your hips, somewhere stable and low. The weight in your left foot. Inhale. Step your right foot up to meet your left and exhale. Sink your hips. Inhale, take your arms out or up, and still inhaling, stand up. Exhale. Samasthiti. So sometimes you just do this from standing. You don't think about the squat. But usually you end up starting to squat in the way that we move, right, as animals, right? When you see a sports player go for a jump, they usually get low to go high, right? So when we transition, we want to give ourselves that kind of space. Let's do it on the other side. Take an inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, sink your hips low. You can take your arms down. Find that low place for you. Rock your weight back again if you like. Sometimes letting your knees turn out a little, or your feet turn out is okay. Adductors in your inner thighs. Inhale your arms out or up. Exhale your hands to the center. Weight in your left foot. Inhale. Exhale, step your right foot back. And you can take a couple steps. You can wobble a little. It doesn't need to be graceful. Grace is often more performative. Keep breathing. It can be awkward as long as you're still feeling your way through. Inhale your arms up, maybe reaching up, draw your navel in, the floor of your pelvis up to go back. Exhale your hands down, step back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, down dog. Everything is a little bit of an invitation, something to try. Remember, it's not about how it shows up. And I promise you, anything that I do that looks graceful or seems to be of ease took a great deal of work, even maybe unnecessary struggle on the way. Inhale your right leg up and back. Exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Inhale, high lunge, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands to the center. Weight in your right foot. Inhale, slowly step up. Exhale, place your left foot with your right, hips low. Inhale, arms up, stand up, Urdhva Hastasana, reach. And exhale, Samasthiti. Let your arms come down. All right. I'm going to do one other sort of get into standing postures transition. It's just a way for you to think through poses because 10 minutes of stretching, doing posture work, starting with sun salutations, is a good way to build something that belongs uh, in your pocket, as it were. It's something that is yours. We don't really own these things, but having that sort of sense that you get to be involved and decide, I think is important pertinent part of self-empowerment. Nobody's going to tell you better how to practice being yourself, though somebody might know the pitfalls that you're experiencing. Right? That's the whole idea of practicing with peers, seeking a teacher. All right. We're going to transition into standing postures in the traditional Ashtanga way. Right? Some other practices do it as well. Inhale your right foot out and back. Ashto means 8, Anga means limb. It's just a certain type of practice that a lot of vinyasa comes from. Pivot on your feet to turn towards what's behind you. If you're on a mat, this is sort of like the back short end of your mat. I've set up my legs here for triangle pose. I'm going to widen them out, so maybe I took a bigger step, and exhale to bend my right knee. Inhale to take your arms out for warrior two. And gaze out past your fingertips. In some postures in standing position, we can just transition to from one another. Your next exhale, come to side angle, bring your right elbow to your knee. Take your left arm up or over. Twisting posture, rotate your rib cage. You're always welcome to versions of binding or utilizing straps. Good. Inhale, warrior two. Stand up, straighten your right leg, and reverse your feet. So turn your right toes in a little, left toes out, and exhale to bend your left knee. Warrior two. Breathe as you reach through your arms. Next exhale or two, let's do side angle on this side. You can play around with the angles of your feet in these postures, how close or wide they are from one another. Generally, we're trying to keep the hips same height as the knee. Getting there maybe one day. It's okay to keep it straighter and higher. And you're just looking for a point of view of stability in your lower body, so your upper body has something to move from or away from and against in a certain way. So we press down into gravity. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana, hands down, step back. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Take a big free inhale. Exhale, step or float forward. Arrive on your feet. That's a different one. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up pose, reach all the way up. Exhale, samasthiti. Soften your knees, and we'll try it in the reverse, which is not done traditionally, but just as an experiment. Step your left foot out and back, legs distance, and turn towards the left. Ooh, for me, that's like wearing the wrong size shoes. Exhale to bend into your left knee for warrior two. And we'll do the B variation. So I'm bringing my left arm to the inside of my leg. And always bring your back knee down. I show this in a lot of videos. But you don't have to get your shoulder inside your knee, just be your arm. You're pushing out with your arm and in with your leg so that things kind of stay stable. But you got a lot of isometric engagement. You can have that reciprocal inhibition response in your body. Gaze up if your neck allows. Now we've already stepped forward with the bent knee. You might look down on your exhale and step your right foot up to meet your left. Now maybe your hands came unbinded or you became untwisted. Always just grab it again. Exhale to bend your left knee and step your right foot back. Release your hands. Inhale, stand up. Reverse your feet around. Exhale to bend into your right knee. We'll do that B variation, side angle. Bring your right arm down on the inside edge. Some practices call this triangle pose. I prefer the straight-legged variety just because I think it's easier to keep organized, calling that triangle pose anyway. I giggle because it seems like these things become so important inside of the culture, and really the point of view is more important than those sort of details, right? Are you breathing, paying attention, right? Is what's happening around you ethical and kind? Are you extending the work you're doing, your thoughts about yourself beyond this like idea of physical exercise? Exhale to step your left foot up to meet your right foot. You might hang your head for a moment. Remember, if the transition isn't graceful, are you still keeping a graceful perspective from within? And if not, if like perspective is frustrated, angry, like let yourself pay attention to that too. Right? Your responses are valid. The way you feel is valid. Just notice, right, the decision, the collaboration you have with those feelings and sense objects. Next couple of exhales, step your left foot back. Good. Inhale to warrior two. Release your binding. Stand up. Exhale your hands down. Step your right foot back for chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Take a big free inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. Ujjayi, inhale. Ujjayi, exhale. Press into your hands. Take a big free inhale. Exhale, step or float forward. Arrive on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to stand all the way up. And exhale, Samastiti. All right, you do just a little bit more transitioning. This time, I'm going to go kind of simple, not so many vinyasas. So take an inhale. Exhale to bend your knees, sink your hips, and step your left foot back. Yeah, just as we did. And turn towards the left, but not all the way until you're in a wide-footed stance. Your feet perpendicular to the length of your mat or parallel to one another. Take an inhale, lift your heart up, and exhale, fold over the crease in your hips. Release your hands towards the earth or props. Prasarita Padottanasana. Inhale and roll your heart. Exhale, fold and breathe. Inhale like a halfway lift. Exhale, walk your hands over to your right foot. I'm going to twist to the right. Left hand down. Inhale, right arm up. I'm lifting the back of my left leg up a lot, keeping it quite engaged. Kick through your heel, high on the ball of your left foot, heavy in your right heel. I'm trying to twist my pelvis in the opposite direction that I'm twisting my rib cage. You can always do this with your back knee on the earth or lift it up taller if it feels better in your spine. Experiment, especially if you meet something that seems like it's not kind to you. It's causing pain. And exhale to release. Two hands down. Drop the back knee down if not already, and inhale to reach up. This time we're going to exhale to side bend to the right, so you might grab a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Bring your right hand to the earth as you tilt over to the right. Breathe along the left side of your body. Good. Inhale to rise up. And exhale, release two hands down inside of your right foot. So you can toe heel your right foot out to the right. I often do. And we're going to take a moment in lizard. So you could stay on your hands. You can come to your forearms. Some of us will love to hug the knee into the shoulder, or to walk your right arm around behind your right leg. That's okay. Remember that it's not necessarily about forcing yourself into the deepest compression that you can stand. Instead, right, where is the percentile of acuity? Sometimes that's more like 85% depth, etc. So on. Where can you still be you? Paying attention without attachment to the experience that's going down. Good. Climb up and out of there. Curl your back toes, lift your left knee, and walk your way back through the wide-footed fold. Inhale, half lift style. And exhale, fold. This time you might grab for your two big toes with your peace sign fingers. Inhale to lift halfway, and exhale to fold and breathe. Inhale and roll, half lift style. Exhale, release your hands towards the earth. With bent knees and a little bit of stealth, walk your way over to the left. Plant your right hand down. Inhale, twist, lift your left arm up. And also bring your hand around behind your ear, lean back. Also take your top arm back and reach. And also use your hand on your left knee, which might be a bit hard to see on camera right now, but as you turn and twist, rotate your elbow up. Good. And exhale to release two hands down to frame your front foot. Drop your back knee down. And climb up onto the knee thigh. You could inhale to reach your right arm up and exhale by exhale. Side body bend over to the left. Maybe two arms. Good inhale to come back up. Then exhale, release two hands down on the inside of your left foot for lizards. Maybe here you can see the walking over. You can stay on your hands or come to your forearms and climb behind your knee if you prefer. And some people like this pose better with the back knee lifted. You're welcome to give that a go as well. All right, let's climb out of there. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee up, walk your way back over. Inhale and roll your heart like a halfway lift, and exhale your hands to your hips. Inhale to stand up. Bring your heels in and your toes out, and exhale to bend your knees. This is a wide-footed squat. You could call it horse pose, goddess posture. You could take your arms out or up. You're welcome to shift a little. How sort of far turned in and out your knees and feet are is up to you. In theory, we're trying to sort of lead with the pelvis turning, the thigh bones at the hip sockets, as opposed to the ankles being turned out, etc. Sometimes a more tail out perspective will give us space to lift up through the heart as opposed to tucked under. Sometimes tucking the tail under gives us stability in the center. Inhale, straighten your legs, turn your toes in. Exhale, interweave your fingers behind you, send your knuckles down, your heart up, and exhale to fold. You could always walk your feet in for more stability. If this position through your hands doesn't work out, feel free to hold strap between your hands, or you could put your hands on your lower back, with your pinkies in and your thumbs out. That's a good place to start stretching the shoulders. Hang your head or tuck your chin. Good. Inhale, stand all the way up. Exhale your hands to your hips, bend your knees. Start to turn with your right foot back to the front of your space. Inhale to step back. And exhale, find samastitihi, neutral pose once more. Right, so once we stand in this neutral position, that's its own kind of transition, coming back to stillness again and again. Similarly with the vinyasas, right, we cleanse is the idea. We wash away what was, destroy what happened so that we can make what's new. We'll flow slow like this just a little bit more, and then we'll do some transitioning on the ground. Take your feet wide. We're going to work the wide angle of the body today. Inhale to reach your arms up. Exhale, Utkatasana with wide feet and toes turned out. Bend your knees. Take an inhale here. And on your exhale, shift the weight into your right foot and see if you can step back. Right? Warrior one. Right, stance. Right. So in theory, it's just a little bit turned out in the front leg. Inhale to reach your arms out or up. Exhale to bring your hands towards the earth inside of your right foot. Spin your back heel up like lizard. Inhale to pull your heart forward and up. And on your exhale, step back, plank pose. Good. From plank pose, roll to the outside edge of your right foot or right knee for side plank. Plank is a little bit more like And I'm on this deck that's like a raft that's floating in the water. You might think of that buoyancy. You need some stability, but also some flexibility. You could take your left arm up or over. Breathe. Transition through plank on the exhale to go to the opposite side. Roll to the outside edge of your left foot or knee. Experiment with your shoulder. Sometimes coming to your elbow is also a good way to work. If there's issues in the wrist. Press what is down, down, so what is up can go up. Transition, exhale through plank, lower all the way down onto your front seam. And the tops of your feet down. And inhale, Bhujangasana Cobra. You could do this as Sphinx with your elbows on the earth if that feels better in your lower back. The Cobra doesn't have to be super duper high, but maybe a little bit taller, more weight in your hands and hands more forward. Take an inhale, pull your heart forward, and on your exhale, bend your right knee, squeeze your toes to your tail. Your leg might not lift that far, and that is okay. You're welcome to look over your right shoulder as you squeeze your hamstring. Release your right leg, inhale to come through center, and exhale, bend your left knee, squeeze your toes to your tail, gaze over your shoulder. Take another inhale. Exhale to release your left leg, back through the center of your cobra pose, and lower down. Good. Curl your toes under, your knees or toes. Inhale up through plank. Exhale back, maybe through child's pose on your way to downward dog. Eye the gateway between your hands. And you could think about crossing your right ankle and then your left ankle up there and sitting your hips down behind to come through to a seat. All right, take your right leg out long, bend your left knee. You can bend your right knee and bring the sole of your foot to the ground and try it this way as well. You're going to inhale to reach your left arm up and exhale to side bend to the right. Try to bring your right shoulder to the inside of your right leg. You might reach for your foot on the outside edge if your foot is bent. If your leg is straight, notice how much your left hip will want to lift. You could reach up and over. This yoga class kind of stars my dog here. She's 16. Yeah, I know. All right, inhale back up through the middle of this and take an exhale there. All right, bend into your right knee and plant your foot. And in this position, see if you can take your left hand out and lean over. Right, as you lean over to the left, press into your right foot. Take your left hand and grab a hold of your left foot. Now, if I kick my left foot out while I'm sitting here like this, I might end up holding the arch of my foot with my right hand. I could also flip my hand over, point my thumb into myself, and hold the outside blade of my foot. Either way, kick through your left leg. Your leg may or may not straighten, and if it does, press into your right foot and your left hand. See if you can lift yourself up. Good. Now, like me, you might come down and say, oh, I need to adjust where my other foot is. I don't know the name of this pose or this work. This is just kind of strange stuff we're trying. And on your exhale, release it. Good. You're going to cross your right ankle over your left and roll over to step back for Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog, and exhale. Downward dog. Walk your feet or walk your hands back to meet your feet. Widen your feet. I'm going to turn to face you. And squat down. Malasana or Mandukasana. Sometimes we do this with a block underneath the hips, the heels lifted, and the mat rolled up, like I suggested earlier for your wrists. You can kind of sit down like I am in this sort of lowly toed kind of position, or you can sit upright and tall. I guess Malasana, Mandukasana. Manduka means frog or amphibian, and Malasana means more garland. I suppose sometimes it's accompanied by binding your hands around behind your heels. Sometimes. All right, take another inhale Exhale, forward fold. Hang your head and forward fold. Walk your hands slowly out into downward facing dog pose. And look at what's in front of you. And step your left foot wide of your left hand. Like the lizard, inhale to pull your heart forward and up. And on your exhale, spin your back heel down. And come up through that warrior one. Virabhadrasana is the Sanskrit name. So the mudra or gesture, the energy of the pose is of being the noble hero dropped from the heavens to land steadily in this type of shape. Inhale to reach your arms up. And exhale, release your hands to the earth or to your front knee, right? If getting low like this is a lot, spin your back heel up. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step your right foot up to meet your left. Utkatasana with wide feet turned out, hips low. Inhale, arms up. Still inhaling, press into your feet, straighten your knees, stand up. And exhale, your arms by your sides. All right. Inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, Utkatasana, bend your knees, sink your hips. Shift the weight into your left foot. Step your right foot back. And warrior one. Inhale to take your arms up. Exhale the hands to the earth. Spin your back heel up. Good. Inhale to pull your heart forward and up. And exhale to step back. And let's lower direct, knees to the earth, all the way down. Inhale to Cobra Bhujangasana or to Sphinx pose. Exhale, bend both of your knees. Take another inhale. Squeeze your glutes. That'll help if your low back is tender. And exhale, straighten your legs and lower your upper body down. Curl your toes. Inhale up through plank or table. Exhale back to down dog, maybe through child's pose. Eye the gateway between your hands. Exhale to a seat. Bend your right knee. Take your left leg out and the sole of your foot down. And also try it right away with your leg long, but if it's already tender, give it a little space. Inhale, reach your right arm up and over. Come down on the inside of your left leg. You can slide your foot out if you got a hold of it. You could strap your foot up if you can't get a hold of it. Remember, it's not so much about connecting your top arm with your leg. You might be working with a straight leg. Sometimes more right arm up helps. Try to stay on the inside of your left knee. All right, exhale to release. If you don't have it bent yet, bend your left knee, put it on the ground. You might apply what you learned last time from this sort of awkward thing. My left butt cheek hip is already up off the ground. Yours might not be. You could transition with that a little bit as you shift your weight to the right and bring your right hand down. And then you might grab a hold of your right leg with your left hand and kick it out or up. You could hold it from the inside, thumb pointing away from you, outside, thumb pointing towards. If that works out, you might press into your right hand, your left foot, lift your leg up. Try to slowly go back down the way you went up. All right. And cross your ankles. If you know the lasana, feel free to lift your seat. Inhale. Come over it. Step back. You can come through a vinyasa if you like. Upward dog on the inhale. Back to downward facing dog pose. And take a big free inhale. Exhale, walk your hands to your feet. Malasana or Mandukasana, squat down. If your heels are lifted, you might make padding with your mat, etc. and so on. And hang your head. You want to try that garland thing. You take your arms out to the sides. They're still inside the fronts of my knees. Then bend your elbows and think about bringing the backs of your hands to the earth. You might walk them around. Some people will stand on their hands, their heels, grab behind. I have really long arms, big wingspan. Binding comes a little easier to those of us with wingspans that are longer than our height, etc. None of the poses are really achievements, so don't worry about missing out on success. Something goes differently for you than me. Consider a version of the pose that feels safe, steady, kind for you, that allows you to come into your own sovereignty and power. Slowly release and find that forward fold position. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk your hands out to down dog. A lot of transitions in this class, ways to get one shape to another. Mostly the action is remember to allow yourself to transition again and again, to create and destroy, and to transform and metamorphosize into whatever feels kindest, best, most true, authentic. Good. Take an inhale. Exhale, step your right foot wide of your right hand. Like lizard lunge, inhale, pull your heart forward. Then the exhale, spin your left heel down. Inhale to warrior one with the wide feet, the turn out. Reach your arms up. And exhale, hands to the right knee or to the earth. Spin your left heel up. Step your left foot up to meet your right. Inhale, Utkatasana with wide feet turned out. Straighten your legs to stand up. And exhale, Samasthiti. Walk your feet back towards one another. I know a lot of this is in silhouette. Listening to your own body, right, is always going to be more important, even if you end up doing something entirely different. Let's get to the earth. Inhale your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Take a big free inhale, eye the gateway between your hands. Exhale, glide, slide, or struggle to a seat. And turn around so I can face you a little bit better. All right, I'm going to do some hip stretching and a little shoulder stretching and some rest. Baddha Konasana, bring the soles of your feet together. Turn your knees wide. And totally do this with your feet out wide, padding up under your knees, especially if the knees are tender. I've been in that purgatory, so really just ask you to be kind. Give your body the real time it needs to regenerate. Inhale to unroll and exhale to fold. And stay upright if you wish. If you're folding, you can round or you can extend your spine. Try not to lead with your neck, lead with the middle of your back. Good, and slowly round up and drag your head after. Take your legs out wide. Upavishta Konasana or Samakonasana, the wide angle or same angle pose. Inhale to lift your heart up. You could stay here. Exhale to fold forward over your legs. If you can fold no further forward, feel free to hang your head. My pelvis is turned a little bit, and that's why I'm bringing the soles of my feet down like this, but you're welcome to keep them up. You're welcome to fold as far as feels good, or even grab a cushion to land on. Keep your legs a little active, a bit awake, especially in that inseam. Very active posture in many ways. And then slowly rise back up. You can use your hands behind your knees to grab a hold of your legs. Bend your knees with the soles of your feet down. I'm going to do a little bit of binding work here. So I have a bandana that I'm going to use as a yoga strap. I suggest something that doesn't stretch very much, but like a piece of cloth will do for most people. Doesn't have to be super long, but remember they can be kind of wily. So if you have trouble grabbing them, try not to get too stressed out. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and place this one underneath a sort of bridge of my right leg here and to the outside of my right hip so it's there if I need it. Inhale my right arm up and exhale down on the inside of my right leg. Now, to get underneath my right leg, I might have to kind of turn my elbow in and pull my leg back. I might have to walk my foot out. I have to kind of turn to the right. And then I'm taking my arm out and bringing my right palm down to the earth. Yeah, so once you're there, you might be able to kind of wiggle around, reach over and grab a hold of your right leg with your right hand and lean back. Use your left leg, or you can put it anywhere you want to give yourself stability. I'm going to walk my right hand in and even start to roll my weight to my left hip, lift my right hip up, walk your right leg up your shoulder like a backpack strap you're wearing. You can stay there. Sometimes it helps to kind of turn to the right or lean back. Sometimes it feels good to bring the foot back down and fold over a little bit like you're doing the front half of the lizard lunge. If it feels pretty good for you, you might be able to take your left hand and grab for the outside edge of your right foot with your thumb pointing towards you and bring your face through your arm and your leg, the little circle that it makes, and kick through your leg. Now, I'm really pulling with my arm too to give my leg something to kick into, pushing with my right hand. That's when my right hip comes off the ground. Some people do this with their hip down, and you're welcome to do that too. My priority here is my shoulder behind my thigh or on the inside edge of my leg. All right, if you're one of my friends for whom this feels pretty good, you can lean all the way over to the left, start to work your right hand around, bend your right knee. You might reach for your hand behind your back. Now, the strap also might be what you reach for back there. That's a little more comfortable for me. I even put my foot back down. You can do that with your foot on the ground too, and try reaching around and getting that bound action. If it feels good to take your leg up and out, just start to walk your leg out towards straight on the ground, turn and twist your arm. Sometimes compression in the shoulders feels really uncomfortable or unsafe or unkind, so always feel free not to. All right, I'm going to release out of that on this side. Sit cross-legged for a moment. My right leg is in front of my left. Inhale to take your arms wide and exhale, press your palms in front of you. Drop your chin around your spine. Inhale, take your arms out. Exhale, press your palms, drop your chin, round back. Inhale, take your arms out, lift your heart up, chin up. One more time, exhale, round. All right, inhale, take your arms out. Exhale, drop them down. Okay, we'll do this on the other side. The sole of your left foot down, right foot down, take your left arm on the inside edge. So you might walk your foot out and just walk your hand out. Right? That's already, for me, compression in my shoulder. I can lean back and scooch around, use my right hand to grab the outside of my left foot, lean back, using my left hand a lot here for stability. Whatever position with your other leg feels stabilizing, and I tend to like to be able to kind of pivot it around. And then if this feels good, you might work through that cavern of your right arm and your left leg. You might start to straighten your leg and kick it out and up. Yeah. And if that's feeling good, you might do work there, wherever you meet that compression. You can start to work towards binding. Show it with the foot down on this side. So take my arm through. I got to kind of flip my palm up, thumb points back, and reach back behind me. Take my opposite arm around behind my back, grab for my strap. And then I kind of wiggle a little. You're pretty close to the ground, so if you shift your weight and it doesn't work out, you can always shift right back to where you were. You might take your leg out or up or down long to turn and twist. All right, exhale your way out of there. Excellent. Now we'll sit cross-legged. I have my left leg in front or on top. Inhale to take your arms up. Exhale to wrap your right elbow over your left. Hug your shoulders, walk your fingers back. And stay here and drop your elbows down, lift your heart up. Or you can work towards the eagle bind of your arms, wrapping your left hand around your right. You could press your palms or interweave your fingers. Some people like to pull down. There's also something to be gained by pressing up. Both ways are good. All points in between. Inhale, take your arms out. Switch, bring your left elbow on top, whichever one wasn't last time. Reach to hug around. I try not to say super sappy things like give yourself a hug. But remember that there's something about even just caring for the vessel of your body, right? When we're parented well, loved well, or touched with kindness, or held, etc., it often those sensations can be of soothing. Remember that you deserve to give those things to yourself just as much as you do to everyone else, even if it feels like very hokey or corny to think about it. If you want to find the eagle wrap on this side, feel free again. That's my point of view. It's right. And cynics, as much as we'd like, at the end of the day, I'd really like the bhakti of joy and love, at least in my world. I'm still going to try and cultivate it, perpetuate it, give as much of it away as I can. You're welcome to draw your arms up, pull them down. And inhale, reach your arms out. And exhale, let them come down. Take your legs straight out long in front of you. Seated forward fold. So you can just fold down, round your spine. Your legs don't have to be super active. If you love an active version, pulling yourself down over straightening legs, feel free. Slowly roll yourself up to a seat. And roll yourself down onto your back. I'm going to shift. As you roll down, go slow. When you get to your back, discern whether you want to be there. We'll do a little work on the back, pulling the knees into the chest and twisting. Ooh, but if you prefer to be elsewhere, feel free. You could lie on your back, or you could lie on your side. You could lie on your belly. You could go to a bed or a couch or a seat, somewhere that feels more of ease to you to do this work, especially if you know you're headed on to the next thing quickly. You might not want to wind down, so feel free to adapt it. Otherwise, bend your knees and put the soles of your feet on the mat. Hang your right ankle over your left knee for figure 4. You can lift your left leg up if you like and thread your arms through to hold. Some wind where I am. You might hear that sound along with my words. You're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. When you're ready, the sole of your left foot down. Wrap your right leg around your left. This is the eagle leg. You could do it once or twice. And drop your both knees to the right. You can shift up and over. If that wrap is too much, just bend your knees and stack. Take your left leg over with your right leg long. Take your left arm out, but you don't need to, turn to the left or anything. Good. Bring your legs back through center. The soles of your feet to the mat. Hang your left ankle over your right knee. You might keep your right foot on the ground. You could even use your left hand to press into your inner left thigh or lift your leg up. Sometimes it's helpful to rock right and left until you find the sweet spot. This is a version of Kapotasana of pigeon. When you're ready, put your right foot down, cross your left leg over. Drop your both knees to the left, hang your right arm to the right. There's a lot of sort of lore about needing to twist to the right and then the left, but really it's okay to twist in any order. All the twisting helps bring out the body, especially through the circulatory system, runs along the spine, muscular system, the fascial system. All right. Inhale your way back up through center, and exhale to release your feet to the earth. Take one bridge pose, press into your feet, and inhale to lift your hips. You could always stack books or blocks under your hips at any level. Sometimes it doesn't take much lift to really feel extension through the front seam. You're welcome to roll your shoulder blades together underneath you to lift your hips high. Again, we've experimented with a lot of external rotation, so you might walk your feet wide and turn them out. Lift your heels up and try to target some different areas of your lower back and glutes. Be very, very kind. And always go in tenuously, like a really good guest. Right? Show up with all of your gifts and your attention. Right? Do your best to try to enter with reciprocity, even with your own body. A good start entering into it with the rest of the universe, the natural world. When you're ready, unlock your hands and slowly come down. Drop your knees from side to side one more time if you wish. Hug your knees into your chest and give yourself a good squeeze. Your low back might lift off the ground even. If there are other finishing postures you wish to do, feel free to take them. Otherwise, take your legs long, Shavasana. You could rest on your side or your belly instead, or in a seat, in any posture that feels sustainable for a few minutes without too much compression, loss of blood flow, or need to shift. You could have your arms by your sides with your palms up, or rest your hands on your heart or your belly. Close your eyes or pick a spot to see. Relax the muscles of your face. Let your body become still. If there's any last fidgeting or futzing to do, feel free to do it so that you know you've done enough to let yourself be. Notice the other transition that is happening all the time in lieu of your breath or with your breath is your heart beating. That subtle I am, right? It I ams and I ams. Right? It pumps again and again, cycles in and out. We make and remake, nourish, offload what isn't for us anymore. You might listen to your heart beating in your chest with the eye of your mind. Anytime you feel like your sense ideas are drawn out into list making or storytelling or distraction, just draw yourself back again to listening to the sound of your heart beating and your blood moving. A gentle, unyielding exclamation of your humility and importance in this universe. When the time comes to call you up and out, to change back into karmic action, I'll call you out of relaxation. Until then, practice paying attention to how things really are. Sahana vavatu, sahano bunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejas dinavaditamastu, mavid vashavahai, om shanti, shanti, shanti. If you're lying in rest or sitting in meditation and wish to remain as such, please do for as long as you'd like. You might even stop the video and just take your time as long as you'd like to rest. The time has come for you to return to waking life. Go to your breath enough to draw you back towards waking awareness and go into your body. Add soft, subtle movement, maybe to the edges. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Run your tongue over your mouth surfaces. Scrunch and spread your face. Move your muscles around a little in your wrists and ankles. If you're lying on your back, really do take the time. You might stretch out or up before gathering your knees into your chest to give yourself a good squeeze. Your lower back feels ready for it. You could roll onto your favorite side and pause. Let your body heavy again for a few breaths before taking the time to rise up to sitting. And as you do this process, take the time to gain perspective. I like to offer the idea of a cosmic perspective, a celestial perspective, the idea that the universe had to exist for you to do this yoga practice, and thus every other person in your lineage, every other person in the lineage of yoga, every other book written that you've accessed, everything you've learned about education and the history of that. You have to pay your taxes, I guess, to do this yoga practice, maybe. Things like that. Consider what is broad, right? The mundane and the magical, the regular and the extraordinary. Continue to consider even the perspective of things that have not worked for you or that you've moved on from. Count the privileges that you have that allow you to practice, as well as counting yourself and the gift of overcoming oppressions you might have had to overcome to come towards it. Then draw yourself into a seat. We'll seal the practice together. That's a traditional closing chant in the lineage of Krishnamacharya. And again, from Mysore in the south of India, it is own lineage in the Brahmin mindset of knowledge and awakening. The closing chant means, or is translated from Sanskrit loosely, to an idea about learning together in community, maybe with guide and student, or with yourself and your own internal guide, yourself and your community, with yourself and the spectral universe around you. Um, may we together be protected. May we together know joy. May our work together for the liberation of all be brilliant and illuminated. May our work seek to contribute to the happiness and freedom of all beings everywhere in the context of universality, non dualism, and peace. If you'd like, you could fold your hands in the prayer, symbolizing that idea of connection, that things that seem separate have a meeting place on the field of everything where they become one. Thank you for your time, energy, and effort. You might bring your thumbs to your third eye and bow to yourself, bow to the lineage of your practice in India and Asia. Thank you. Thank you for joining, for using this resource. My name is Alyssa, and I use they, them pronouns. I got this great big, quite perfect that to offer what to our practices from. And so there's a bit of a blessing to be had in the obstacle. Again, if you need anything, reach out. Otherwise, thank you for being you, for seeking sovereignty, kindness, peace. Um, I hope that the sun shines on your face and that we get to see each other again soon.